What's up, everyone? It's Borley Borlstein, and I'm Black. At you with another video. Okay, today I'm talking about Bleach. I only watched up to the first filler arc, the Bounto arc. That's all I know. I know later on there's like a race war, and then there's like a genocide, and then I think they're fighting over blood. So like Avatar season 2 shit happens. I don't know. I don't know any of that shit. I think Ichigo ends up being like the Kwisatz Haderach at the end of the whole series. Like he's just the genetic perfection of humans, fucking ghosts or aliens or something. I don't quite remember. But this is a review of the first 80 or so episodes of available information for Bleach. So let's start off. Let's start off with the most important thing, style. This anime, more so than any other fucking anime, has fucking style. I remember I would be watching the fucking openings for this shit, and I thought I was watching like a fucking like JC Penney catalog, except for not fucking bored housewives drinking wine all day. Like the style is so good, and I'm talking about the clothes. I mean, the overall animation style and the art style in the manga, give or take it, it's okay. It's a little kind of rough, but I think that aesthetic helps. But my god, the clothes were so fucking cool, and seeing the different characters in the different clothes makes you want to see them in those clothes in the show when they're wearing this shit and going around town. It just gives you such a cooler idea about the vibrance of life that these characters have, or the lives that maybe they live outside of the screen that we see them in, and that's fucking cool. So that part of the show, 10 out of 10, fucking phenomenal. Okay, let's go on to the story. So the story is Ichigo comes upon Rukia, and Rukia's struggling to fight some fucking demon monster fucking thing, Shinigami shit, or whatever the fuck the name is. And oh no, it's gonna kill Ichigo's family, and Rukia can't stop it. So then she's gotta do this thing that's illegal by her standards, but for some reason they can do it, and she's gonna deputize Ichigo to fight the monster so the monster doesn't kill Ichigo's family, because who, of course, anyone's gonna make that gamble. And this is an amazing fucking premise because it tricks the audience. Why does it trick the audience? Well, the audience gets tricked because obviously we're going to be like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. Of course. Who wouldn't accept that? Like, who doesn't want to get cool powers to fight monsters and protect their family? That's the coolest shit ever. And the reason it becomes so important, why this is a cool setup, is because later on, there is consequences for this action that, like, fucking, what is it, 16 or like 20 some episodes later, we start an even bigger plot with more at stake, and it's incredible. That truly is incredible, because initially where it's like, oh cool, I'm learning these cool powers, I'm such a cool guy, my life has meaning now, and I have all these new obligations, and I don't really want to do them, but I gotta do them because I gotta save my family, I fight for my friends. And then oh no, the fucking Soul Society people are like, oh Rukia, we gotta take you back home, and we gotta murder you because you deputized a human, and you're not supposed to do that. You should have died and let the human and everyone die there, or whatever the fuck. And that's wrong. And they fucking slay Ichigo. He's like fucking bleeding on the ground, but then he gets saved by Hat and Clog's man, and that's fucking incredible. It's incredible. And then there's even like an advanced political plot where like Aizen is actually scheming. So like you think it's like, okay, I'm getting cool powers and now I'm a cool guy, and it's like typical shonen anime. And then it's like, oh no, there's consequences to my actions, and the person who gave me these powers is going to die, and I care about them, so I need to help them. And then there's even a cooler plot where Aizen is like Keikaku manifesting this like 5-dimensional chess game so that he can get some like fucking sacred orb out of Rukia. I don't understand why it's even there. I don't fucking remember. But he's got to get some sacred orb out of her, and that ends up happening anyway. That part was a little disappointing. But that is the coolest fucking shit, where you have like a plot that builds on the consequences of something that you initially were cheering for, and it causes you to go, oh my god, retroactively, maybe I feel a little bad for that, because look at all the damage this is potentially has caused. Now, mind you, obviously it's a shonen slop anime, so there really are no consequences, and the good guy always wins. That part's a little boring, obviously, right? But that idea was so novel to me in like, what, 2016 or 2006, for shonen. That's incredible. I've never watched any other shonen slop ever again in my life, and I absolutely refuse to, because one, nothing will ever have as hot of girls as Bleach. IMHO colon parentheses get fucked everything else, and two, nothing will have as interesting of a plot with characters that are mildly worth cheering for. Yeah, like Naruto. Nobody's worth cheering for in Naruto. Everyone's a loser. So yeah, let's talk about the characters right now. So we have Ichigo. He's Strawberry Kun. He's got the cherry hair, and he gets bullied for it. So he's gotta prove himself. He's gotta fight people. And now he can prove himself not to others, but by being a Shinigami, he proves himself to himself. Because he's taking care of his family now. He's not just a deadbeat who gets in fights with his dad about trying to fuck his younger sisters or whatever. That's not happening anymore. Now he's a cool guy. And that's important because that allows him to satisfy a need he had in himself that he was not able to. He was satisfying the need of society by fighting against their expectations of him. So there's a message in there, I think, for Ichigo's growth that is very reflective of Japanese society and what's the word when you confirm what the C word when you can conformation, when you conform your behavior to other people, because he talks about considering dyeing his hair black or whatever, but he doesn't do that because it's his hair from his mom or some shit like that, and his mom is dead, so like that's how he lives on, with his mom in his hair. Okay, it's magical, it's Japanese, it's beautiful, and it's perfect, okay? 10 out of 10 fucking character. Wouldn't ask for anything more. So let's go on to the next important character. We got Rukia. There are some problems with Rukia, I gotta say. Because the mangaka clearly either did not know what the fuck he was doing, did not have a plan, or Rukia's just lying, which is, the lying one could be fine. It's just a little strange. So initially, Rukia is written as that she's like kind of like a grandma, and she's like in a 16-year-old's body. She's written as being like hundreds of years old, but then I think later on it turns out that she's not really hundreds of years old and she just died as like a young person, I think, or something. I don't know. It's very strange, but early on she's written as like a fucking lollibaba hag in like a fucking little girl's body. But overall, I think her character is pretty interesting. She's like a mild tsundere character a little bit. There's like some pretty significant plotting regarding like the relationship between her and Ichigo, and I think around like maybe episode 9 when like all the bitches at school are sitting around and Rukia, they're like talking about guys or caring about somebody, and she's kind of having these like drifting thoughts about Ichigo or whatever. And I mean, she's like living in his closet or whatever. So like, I mean, really, what off screen's happening is just like Rukia's getting her ass and vagina blown out every night, obviously, right? Maybe there's no monsters to hunt tonight. Let me just plow your asshole, right? Like, so that's obviously what's happening. And she's just like, oh man, I don't want to go back to the Soul Society because I'm so enamored with this underage high school boy's penis, right? That's what's going on. So one second, I take a drink. So Rukia's character, I would say 10 out of 10. That's an awesome experience. But the writing for the character is a little bad. And then all the aforementioned stuff about like fucking magical powers and stupid family, and she gets adopted, and then Byakuya is like, I am going to kill my little adopted sister because she's not blood related and I have a blood related only fetish. That was a little strange, but I mean, it's Japan. It's just a different culture. I cannot criticize it. Moving on, let's go to Orihime. Orihime, initially in the series, I loved. She's goofy, she's funny, she's quirky. She seems like maybe a potential romantic interest, but she's just too unserious to consider as an actual person vying for the main character's affection. She has that famous Leak song where she's spinning her hand and is like, I can only do the fucking circus song, I apologize. But anyway, you fill it in with your head, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, she's just a funny character. She's a caring character, and she has a lot of charm and personality, and I like her a lot. Now, I think the next character to talk about is Chad. Now, Chad, I think that's his name, right? He's like a Mexican, Hispanic guy, and, he's one of the few characters who's like that stoic person who I think was like done really well, that like somehow, despite not saying a lot, had quite a bit of personality, and I really enjoyed that. I thought Chad was a great character. He cares about the younglings, Ichigo's younger kiddos. He does that, and he tries to help. I mean, he's a big guy. He tries to help more than he can possibly help, right? And that's a really admirable trait. So I think he's a cool character. I give him like a 7 out of 10. And now I think the only other character I can really think about before Soul Society arc is Tatsuki or whatever. She's like the tomboy character. She's like in an episode. Her character is pretty great. She's more of like the friend character than Orihime even is. And she's just a great design, a fun personality, and just overall great character. And that episode that she's in is one of the ones that kind of sticks out to me. I think it might be a 2-parter even, sticks out to me a lot. And the reason I wanted to go over the characters before we talk about Soul Society is because as the show transitions from, okay, we're on regular Earth fighting monsters, and then we go into Soul Society, the show takes like a 50% hit in quality. Because you have Quincy Boy, the guy with glasses. I was never a fan of this character. I thought he was like always a loser. I hate characters with chip on their shoulders because they're just like begging you to like, oh, please care about my tragic backstory, why I justified in hating everyone and being a miserable piece of shit. And the reason I hate those characters is because they have the exact same personality of my brother growing up. My brother was an edgy loser that had no friends, and he had no tragic backstory though. He was just an unlikable pile of shit. And so when I see this personality in anime and then they justify it with some sad backstory, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit, because I personally have a sad backstory. And unlike you losers, I have friends and people like me. So I genuinely despise these losers who just like pathetically want everyone to know their sad backstory so that they can justify their hate and being a loser, rather than just like, I don't know, you could grow and be a better person. You have magical powers. Why are you fucking crying? Shut up. Do something cool with your life. So that Quincy guy, he's like a 0 out of 10. I hated that guy, but every show needs a character for you to hate, and that's the character that I hate. So absolutely 10 out of 10 in terms of the ensemble cast, though. That's what we're gonna say. So as we go to Soul Society, every character's got to go through their training arc because, like, I want to help Ichigo too. We have Hat and Clogs Man, and he's helping everyone train up. Hat and Clogs Man is pretty cool. And then, like, some of the supporting cast, Hochi Mama, what is it, Soifang and Yoruchi, whatever. They're like the ninja leader people of Soul Society, but Yoruchi, the dark skin girl, she's like the former one, and she turns into a cat, which is like, that great meme, a cat is fine too, like, we can fuck a cat. Hey, I love when anime makes references. That's absolutely perfect. And Soifan, DFC, delicious flat chest, absolutely 10 out of 10. Gonna bang. Okay. So, and then there's the teasing scene where, Ichigo's in the hot spring, and then the Yoruchi are there. I don't know how to say her name. I apologize. She's like in there, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna suck off a young man today or whatever. And Ichigo gets his Bankai so fucking big, it turns into Mount Everest. It's incredible. It was a powerful scene. I really appreciate that they animated that thing in its completion, because I wasn't expecting that to get adopted from the manga to the anime in that style, but truly incredible. But yeah, back to my point. Soul Society sucks because you take these characters that have such cool personalities and they become fucking nothing. Orihime goes from this ditzy fucking like fun, I'm cooking food for my grandma girl, to I am stoic, boring girl who has lame power to heal people, and my personality has been transferred to 3 stupid little like floating fairies that fly around me and do stuff while I just look confused. Quincy Boy stays almost the exact same. He's like so fucking lame, and his power is so fucking lame. I have a bow and arrow, like fucking Yu Yu Hakusho was doing energy guns way fucking cooler. He's got like the pistol, bang, 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 and then he's got the shotgun, boom, 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 Like what does fucking Quincy Boy have? Ooh, let me shoot my shitty arrow out. Ooh, like that's so fucking lame, dude. Get a cool power. And like Chad becomes even less, Chad already, he's a stoic character. He doesn't have that much personality. Maybe he's afraid of speaking out because he is a foreigner in this world, I believe. And so he doesn't want to rock the boat too much. But then when he gets to Soul Society, you would think, okay, well, this is a place where I'm here to fuck shit up. So maybe more of my personality comes out. It's the fucking opposite. Chad is like so fucking, he starts from like barely any personality, maybe justified, to zero personality, boring as fucking sin. And that just happens for the whole cast, all the supporting cast from Earth. It's just their personality just becomes like fucking flat. It's so fucking boring. Oh wait, this is a sound MS offset test. If this is happening and it's different than you're hearing it, then that means I fucked up on the MS offset. So tell me in the comments. But yeah, Soul Society is amazing, and it's amazing for one reason alone, and that is because Renji Abara, is that his name? Renji is the greatest cuck character I have ever seen in fiction. He is peak cuck mentality. Renji and Rukia get like a multi-episode fucking backstory about how Renji is secretly in love with Rukia, and which is strange because like it seemed like the show was kind of setting up Rukia and Ichigo. What's going on? And Renji's just like, he makes no attempt to save Rukia at any point in the whole show. And in fact, he tries to fight Ichigo to stop him from saving Rukia. Just because he's like, well, these are the laws of the land and my captain is, he's enforcing this law and I gotta go along with it. And like, I don't even think at any point Renji says like, oh, well, they're stronger than me, they would just kill me or something. He doesn't even say that. He's just a fucking loser. Like, dude, I don't care who I have to fight against. If you got magical powers, they got magical powers, but your waifu is gonna get killed and you don't even try to do anything other than just talk no jutsu to people, and your talk no jutsu is so bad that they just like fucking don't even listen to you, you are the biggest fucking cock. And this is my biggest problem with Bleach, is that it clearly is a men writing women scenario, because what woman could ever fucking be with a loser like that? Like, oh, you were totally gonna let me just die and you made no attempt to actually save me, and even though you came to visit me in my jail cell, like, you actually didn't try to save me at all, and you're like just a complete fucking loser. Yes, let me spread my legs wide open for you. Like, that is fucking insane. Like, any woman that would ever do that has zero self-respect. Holy fucking shit, that is insane to me. Obviously I know the pairings at the end of the thing because it was a big deal when they came out, but holy fucking shit. Only a man can write a woman that badly. Or maybe that's peak female. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'm wrong. But my God, that is genuinely insane that Renji's just going to let her die. And Ruki's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can, cream pie my asshole and make a baby with me. Come on, do it. Like, what the fuck? That is crazy. But yeah, so nothing really else happens in the show. Ichigo gets Bankai. It turns out his inner Bankai man is like fucking Ghost Hitler or something, and then he's like fights Byakuya, and that's a cool fight. He's like beating him up. Ichigo has like a Nazi sword too. So I guess he's like a reincarnation of Hitler, or like he's gonna create like the Fourth Reich in Japan. I don't fucking get it. And then it happens again. This is where the show goes fucking downhill. So Ichigo defeats Byakuya and he's gonna save Rukia, and that basically happens. But then like Aizen just shows up and does the same thing that Byakuya did in like episode 16. Because like in episode 16, Ichigo's like, I'm gonna save Rukia, and then like Byakuya's like, and like touches his sword and it just stops, and like Ichigo is like kind of beating up Renji, but then they're like, oh, when we're on Earth our powers are downscaled, bro. Like, I was fighting at 25% of my power, bro. You gotta believe me, I'm totally not a fucking jobber. Come on, man, come fight me now. Like, shut the fuck up, dog. Y'all just fucking jobbers. That's the way it is. Like, the problem is the spirit world, that's like zero gravity, so they don't have any resistance training. They come to Earth, they have to deal with real humans, and the real humans pull out their dicks and just crush their faces in. Okay, that's the reality of what was going on. Okay, so Renji, he's full of shit, he's a loser. But then the show just repeats what the fuck happened earlier. Aizen does some stupid shit and kills some girl and just and flies off to whatever land, I don't even fucking know, and just like stops the fighting or beats up Ichigo again. It's like, oh, here we go again, another big guy shows up, nearly kills the main character, and he's got to go through another training arc. Like, fucking Snoozerville, I don't care. Like, we've already basically had the story complete. Why do we need to go through it again? But that's anime, right? If it's successful, we just need to keep retelling the same fucking story over and over and over again. And I watched like episode like fucking 156, like the intro part of it, because I was bored one time randomly, and the intro or the episode literally was like a fan episode. It's like Ichigo's hanging out in the classroom with his friends when a monster attacks and they all have to go out and fight it with their powers. Like, that is the lamest fucking introduction to anything I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's literally the episode. It's a fucking fan wrote the episode. So as far as I'm concerned, after episode 80 or whatever the fuck I stopped watching, show turns to hot fucking garbage. It is unwatchable trash. I guess let's talk about the Bounto arc very briefly. So the Bounto arc is basically if you put cock and ball torture as an arc. There's like all these weird characters that don't have any significance to the plot anywhere whatsoever, and they all use like fucking 8 treasure ball powers from that fucking one anime, and it's just stupid. It's just terrible. The villains are terrible. The constant narration in the episode is god awful. One of the characters has like a terrible fucking voice, even in Japanese. I watched the whole show in Japanese, mind you. And the worst part, though, is that they would fucking jack off that, like, oh my god, it's the first time that Rukia and Ichigo have been one-on-one since the Soul Society arc. What's going to happen? And they would have that constantly in the episode teasers. And then when it finally happens, they don't even fucking talk to each other. And the reason is, and I didn't learn this until hindsight, is because that it was a filler arc. So they couldn't actually have the character say anything because they couldn't have that contradict the actual story that was going to happen. So the filler arc destroyed my enthusiasm for the show, and I just stopped watching. It was straight fucking garbage. So there's one last thing to talk about Bleach, and that's the music. So let's talk about the OPs and the EDs. The OPs, holy fucking shit. Bleach had some of the hypest fucking opening music of any anime of all time. I still listen to those songs today. I still remember most of them. Ichira no Hana, oh my god, I'm fucking busting nuts. The fucking other song by Overworld or whatever, or maybe that's the title of the song. Actually, they have like another song that's like popular. They have like a bunch. Like they're fucking great. The first season opening song is just such a nice fucking vibe. It's such a nice like kind of like end of summer feeling, which I think is like when the anime even came out. Like it was so fucking good. Just like this, I think it was called like, what is it, Orange something or Orange 8? I don't fucking know. But god damn, it was so fucking good. And then just like the episode music too. Like I think there's like a song like fucking Diddy for Daddy or some stupid shit. Like all these like little like 40-second kind of like sound fucking bites that just fit so well with the aesthetic of the show. And then like the song in episode 16 when Rukia is fucking like getting taken away and it's like all hope is lost. I think the song is like Never Meant to Be or something like that. Oh my god, that fucking sad piano song. Oh god, holy shit, I was busting so fucking hard to that shit. That shit was unfucking real. God damn. What else is there? What else is there to say, really? I don't know. There's not too much more else to say. I mean, that's just... Bleach was a really powerful thing. I remember, okay, this is a personal story. This is an embarrassing story, but I'm going to tell it. So, there was like a thing in Bleach where Ichigo, he had this like confidence booster or some shit where he's like, oh, it's my resolve to fucking... or it's my resolution or some shit to do something, or I don't even remember what the context that he said it, but I remember the phrase like my resolution or I resolve to do this thing or something. Maybe the translation was wrong, I don't know. And I remember being in like gym class and I'm like, I'm not an athletic person and kind of awkward, right? And I'm just like, man, oh, we're doing baseball and I got to hit the ball, right? The ball's coming at you and you got to hit it. And I felt like in my head I could hit the ball, but I just felt awkward about doing it, right? So I would go up and I'd be like, okay, like I'm gonna resolve to just fucking crank this fucking thing, like I'm gonna fucking do it. And I remember people's reactions because I would do that and people would actually like, so first they're like, okay, come in, I'm not a sports person, so they come in the field, right? And then they see me hitting it and I'm actually hitting it pretty fucking far. They were genuinely impressed. And so like that was just something that like the anime carried over into my real life, that like the power of believing in yourself actually has meaningful consequences in your life. And when I believed in myself, then I had better outcomes than just being, an awkward loser who's afraid to hit the ball, Although maybe that relates more to Fooly Cooly. But Fooly Cooly, that never really resonated with me because I was just too busy. The show's just too horny. to take seriously, in my opinion, whereas Bleach is a little bit more serious at times. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. Bleach is, or was, a good show, and the filler arc killed it. Oh wait, one more thing. I watched one Bleach movie, Memories of Nobody. Boy, what a sad movie. You introduced this like 10 out of 10. She should have been the new waifu character. They hired like 15 writers. We're gonna craft the perfect waifu. She's gonna have the most Genki personality. She's gonna be so fucking submissive and breedable and fun and everything. And everyone's gonna be hard as rocks for this fucking character. And they did that on purpose. They did that to fuck with you, because then at the end of the movie, oh no, it's Memories of Nobody. We don't remember her. Ichigo doesn't remember her. She doesn't remember it. Nobody remembers anything. It was literally a filler movie that nothing of consequence happened. I guess maybe she's alive, so that's cool. But it just crushes your balls. That movie is peak depression core, peak cock and ball torture. She should have been the new main character, or the new love interest. Orihime is fucking terrible. Orihime. This is one other thing I had, is that the reason I liked Bleach is because it had a really good spin on the idea of like the princess is in another castle, you got to go save her kind of story, right? Like, oh my god, I got to go save my waifu, she's being held hostage. But it was with a modest amount of justification for her actions and the consequences of things thereof. And I thought that was cool, rather than like, oh no, she's just held hostage by a rapist man, like in a fucking Sword Art Online or whatever, right? Like, Bleach did it in a way that, even though it was a trope, it was an interesting and well-executed trope that I felt. And the reason I hate Orihime is Orihime has nothing going for her. She is so fucking boring. Her personality goes to fucking flatline the moment she gets powers. And then suddenly now she's the princess in the castle that needs to be saved rather than Rukia. That's just so fucking lame. Who the fuck cares about Orihime? I don't fucking care about Orihime. I hate tall bimbo women in anime. They're so fucking boring. Get out of my fucking screen. DFC now. Say it with me. DFC. DFC. Okay. I think that was it, right? So yeah, we got that. I think that, okay, now I'm finally at the end. And with this, I can lay to rest my thoughts and feelings on Bleach. It was a transformative piece of work that elevated the shonen, I almost said shada, elevated the shonen genre to something that was actually worth considering at a time when shonen was about to just fucking fall off the cliff in terms of just utter dog shit, unwatchable trash. It saved anime for a good, like, year and a half, maybe. I don't know. I'm not talking about syndication, but however long maybe 2 years, right? How long does it take them to get to 80 episodes? I mean, they were churning that shit out though. And when you're working at that kind of pace and your manga goes at that kind of pace, the quality suffers. And I think it was shown, right? They have a filler arc in the anime. The character art later on in the series gets worse and worse and worse. The mangaka Kubo doesn't even bother to draw alternative outfits for the characters. He doesn't draw things that he likes anymore. He just has to churn the manga out. And it really shows, because whatever style he had initially evolved into this very boring shovel face aesthetic. And so if you've ever seen the Steins Gate anime, compare the art to the Steins Gate visual novel. All of the characters in the Steins Gate anime have shovel face, which is essentially they draw a flat shovel and then they just draw the character's face on the flat shovel, and their faces look terrible. And that's what happens in Bleach in the later parts of the show, is that every character has shovel face, where it's just so boring. It's just a fucking canvas to drop in the Ichigo eyes. Like, it just doesn't have any meat to it. It doesn't have any like style. They're not emoting in an interesting way. They just look like they're all on fucking Xanax. It's so fucking miserable, and I really hate that. So yeah, it's rather sad the way that Bleach went. But you know, for me, 80 episodes of an anime is probably more than I've ever watched of anything ever, and for that I have to give it credit. You know, I would say Bleach up to like episode 70 or whatever the fuck the first fucking filler arc is, it's like a 7 or 8 out of 10. It just has a style that I think for me has not been replicated. So, yeah. Tell me why I'm wrong. And other stupid shit in the comments. I don't fucking know. Thank you.